So when we're factoring polynomials and a is 7, for example, so a is not 1, and b in this case is negative 44, and c is 12, we're going to use the same principle that we've learned before. It's called the AC method. That is one way we call it. And the idea is we're looking for two numbers that multiply to give us a times c, which in this case is 7 times 12, right, which is 84. And they add to give us b, which is negative 44. So looking for two numbers that multiply to give us 84 and add to give us negative 44. So let's look at a few examples of numbers that might meet this. Well, right away we know we need to meet up with negative 44. So we have 2 and 42, for example, and we have negative 2 and negative 42, right? These multiply to give us 84, and we know that 7 and 12, right? But then we have to add up the numbers. So they multiply to give us 84, but which one adds to give us negative 44? This first case will give us 44 when we add them together. This case will give us negative 44, and this case will give us 19. Now here's where things get interesting when you're factoring polynomials and a is not equal to 1. Notes, that was negative 42, not 44. I apologize. Okay, find those two numbers as negative 2 and negative 44. The difference is you can't just plug them into a parentheses like when you had problems like x squared plus 9x plus 8. In those cases, when you find the two numbers, like this case 8 and 1, you just put x plus 8, x plus 1, and you're done. However, with these types of problems, we have to factor by grouping. Now, we learned this in 6.1, the idea of factoring by grouping. Factoring by grouping is where you have 4 terms, and you take the first 2 and the second 2, and you factor out what they have in common, and then you simplify to the end. When you found those two numbers, negative 44, well, negative 2 and negative 44, there's actually another way to rewrite the whole problem before us. So let's go ahead and rewrite the problem. The problem becomes 7n squared, right, minus 2n, for example, minus 44n plus 12. So, sorry, 42 here, not 44, but 42. Right? This is 42. So let's go back and so you write the numbers out, and then you actually do this. You put them in two groups. We factor out what's common between 7n squared and 2n. Only n. N is the only thing they have in common. So what we're going to do is we're going to, give me 1 second. We're going to rewrite this over here as n into 7n minus 2 because they only had n in common. Then we come over here and we say, what do they have in common? We take out a 6, which is what they have in common, and then we have 7n minus 2. Now, how did I get a minus here? Because technically this minus that was in front of the 42, when I take that, I'm going to take it out as a negative 6. So you take out the negative 6, and then you have 7n minus 2. Now, recognize that this is like just, if I gave you this problem like this, like 7n squared minus 2n minus 42n plus 12, that all you would be doing in this case, if I said, factor by grouping, all you would be doing in that case is you would be taking the first two terms and the second two terms and working them out. And that's what I did to get this over here. Now, notice that 7n minus 2 is the same as 7n minus 2. So we could take that out, 7n minus 2. Then the only thing left is n minus 6, right? That's the only thing left. So you take out what's common between the first two terms and the second set of terms. The answer to this problem is 7n minus 2 into n minus 6. So that shows you how we go about factoring a polynomial when a is not equal to 1. Okay? Let's try another one that has smaller numbers as factors. 3r squared minus 4r minus 4. So a times c is negative 12, right? Because a times c is negative 12. B is negative 4. What are the factors of negative 12? So we have 2 and negative 6, negative 2 and positive 6, right? And we have 4 and negative 3, negative 4 and 3, right? So those are some factors of negative 12. Then we look for the ones that add up to give us negative 4. When you add these all up, you get negative 4 here, you get positive 4, you get 1, and you get negative 1. So the one that we want is this one, of course, because it adds up to give us b, which is negative 4. So the next step, so step 1 is the same, right? Find AC, or this step, sorry, the step here, step 1. Step 1 is finding AC, and then knowing, of course, what b is. You need to know what A, B, and C are, and then AC is negative 12, B is negative 4. You take this problem and you basically expand it to 4 terms. That's the next thing you do. You write out 3r squared, right? And then look at the two numbers that worked. Plus 2r minus 6r minus 4, right? And then you factor by grouping. You take these in turns, the first two and the last two. The first two will become, you could take out an r, and so we have r into 3r plus 2. And for the second two terms, notice they have a minus and a minus. So we're going to take out a negative, and we take out a negative 2, and we're left with 3r minus 2. Oh, sorry, 3r plus 2. Because when you divide both of these by negative 1, you'll get a positive in between them. This is the same as this. So the answer to this problem is 3r plus 2 into r minus 2. So those are the steps to solve and factor that polynomial. Let me know if you have any questions. There will be more examples in the future, but this is to get you going on factoring polynomials when a is not equal to 1. Have a great day.